We're joined by Julie Menin, board member of the Women's Campaign Forum.
And Democratic strategist Julie Menin.
Right here in studio is Julie Menin.
Julie, welcome to the Situation Room.
Joining us now is Julie Menin.
Julie Menin.
Julie Menin. She's with the DNC's Women's Leadership Forum.
Who on earth is going to go into public service? I have 3 young boys, and I think about this all the time. They're never going to go into politics because look what it's become. And the Republican Party has now become the party of no. Where's their plan on health care? Where's their plan to fix the economy? You can't just say no and expect to win elections. It doesn't work. Well, that's exactly right. I mean, Senator Susan Collins, who negotiated on the Republican side, held more power in this negotiation than practically any Democrat. It's really incredible what happened here. And she was the one who had veto power over that additional state aid and school construction funding. And she's the one who pushed for additional tax cuts. We've got to remember 35% of this bill is tax cuts. And as you said before, $13 a week for families, that's what some of these tax cuts are going to mean. Is that really going to help stimulate the economy? And that's what a lot of people are questioning. What she did here was to distance herself from Bill Clinton, to say that she's a sense of humor. There's a real misconception about Hillary Clinton that she's steely and that she's tough. I've worked with her many times over the years. She's a great sense of humor. She's empathetic, and she was trying to show that. And first of all, she's happy. I think she's happy the bitter campaign is over, and she's happy that she's in this position. What we will see tonight is stark contrast in their economic plans. But in terms of a game changer, what I think would be interesting is if McCain came in and says mea culpa on this whole deregulationist strategy that has been employed for the last 8 years. If he says, you know what, we were wrong, folks, and now let's get it right, and he needs to pivot on that issue. But I do think that as governor of a state that only has one town over 100,000 people and 2 towns over 10,000 people, it's not the kind of experience that we need as vice president. And I think this debate will be very interesting because it's going to show these stark differences between these 2 candidates.
I do not want to cross your space because obviously that's what this is all about, and you're a very good debator. But at the end of the day,
you don't want to be
Rick. We don't want a Rick Lasio moment here.
Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for
Great.
having me.
I have a sense that you'll be back here.
Thank you.
Let me cross into your
Thank
space.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much. As always, Ed.
She's a great talent.
On the CNN website, your bio boldly touts you as the only nonpartisan cable news host in the 8 p.m. hour. Now, 10 years ago, such a statement would, of course, been a given because obviously journalists were independent. What is your take on the fact that CNN, the pioneer in cable news, is really marketing your political independence to distinguish itself from its competitors?
Wow. You're right. Things have changed.
I want to get back to something, a very interesting charge that you make in the book. I want to read to you something from the book jacket, which says, and I'm going to quote, "The pressure that the Department of Homeland Security received to connect Homeland Security to the international war on terror, Red Iraq, and to raise the security alert on the eve of the 2004 presidential election. Yet previously you've made comments, particularly to the New York Times, that politics did not play a role whatsoever in Homeland Security decisions. So can you clear up this apparent contradiction?"
There's a contradiction between the words on the jacket cover, which I'm not quite comfortable with the words that I actually wrote. And I try to tell people to just read the words that I wrote in the book.
Well, let me ask you, because 3 days before the Democratic National Convention in 2004, the terror alert was raised on intelligence that was admittedly 3 to 4 years old. How is that not putting politics into these decisions?
It's a question that people asked then and people ask now after they read the book, and I'm grateful that you've teed it up for me to respond. The way we raise the threat level, I mean, there's so much caricature of the color-coded system, but people never realized that each color meant there was a prearranged level of security. But what people never also realized, in spite of the number of times we've said, is that nobody could raise the threat level by themselves.
Now, your interview earlier in the year with Tucker Bounds on the McCain campaign generated a lot of interest, both pro and con. What was your take on the interview and why you think it attracted such attention?
You know, I've tried when people like Tucker Bounds, who is a spokesman for the McCain campaign, or was at the time, come on to the show, to stop them. When they go into talking point mode, is just say stop. I don't want to hear it. The audience doesn't want to hear it. Our time is too valuable. Talk to us like we're intelligent people and be straight with us about what's going on.
I want to get to an issue that has captured New Yorkers' attention, and that is President Obama's insertion of his opinion into the gubernatorial race in New York. Basically, it's been reported by the New York Times that Obama's political advisors have spoken to New York Governor David Paterson and told him to get out of the gubernatorial race. Is that appropriate for a president to do?
I don't know that to be a fact. I do think these are very difficult decisions. He's the President of the United States. He's the titular leader of the party. He's entitled to have his own opinion. I think that both sides probably regret that if the opinion was expressed in that fashion that was leaked. And at the end of the day, I got to stand with the Governor Patterson. It's his job now, and if he wants to run for it, he's got to weigh all those considerations. The president's entitled to opinion, but Governor Patterson ought to do what he feels in the best interest of New Yorkers.